Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I have another hair experiment for you. I'm trying 5 home methods to get natural looking ginger hair. One of the plants I choose for the experiment is an onion. Its husks are used to dye Easter eggs, and this inspired me to try if onion could actually dye hair. To do this, I put 2 large handfuls of yellow onion peels into a pot and pour 2 glasses of water over it. Then I cook the onion over low heat for about 10 minutes. After this time, I leave the onion covered to cool down. Then I strain the infusion and add a tablespoon of vinegar and a pinch of salt, just like it's done when dyeing clothes or the eggs mentioned above. For the experiment, I also use red onion peels, which have a more intense color. I prepare the infusion in exactly the same way. Next, I prepare calendula flowers. You can actually read in many places that they give the ginger tint to the hair. I will check if it's true. At the same time, I prepare hibiscus flowers, which are intensively red in color. I place 4 handfuls of each flower in a jar and pour about half liter of boiling water. I cover it and leave for about 10 minutes to infuse. Now it's time to strain them. In the case of hibiscus, I was curious if the addition of vinegar and salt, as in case of onion, would increase the intensity and durability of the dye. To do this, I prepare 2 bowls of hibiscus infusion and add a little salt and vinegar to one of them. Then I check the color on strips cut from an old cotton t-shirt. Since the difference wasn't noticeable, I decided to rinse the materials in a clean water and then compare them. And here you can see a clear difference. More red dye remains on the strip with the addition of salt and vinegar. So I add salt and vinegar to the hibiscus infusion. I do the same with calendula infusion. The last ingredient I want to test is henna. In the case of henna, we all know it works. However, using henna as a paste and applying it to the hair gives an incredibly intense and strong color. A few years ago, I dyed my hair with henna, and although the hair was incredibly healthy and shiny, the color was definitely too dark. I want to check if a gentle henna rinse is able to give the hair natural ginger highlights. I put 2 spoons of powder into a glass and pour boiling water over it. I cover the glass and set aside for about 10 minutes. Then I pour off the top layer and acidify the henna with vinegar. I organize the colors according to its intensity. The first one is henna, then calendula flowers, yellow onion, red onion, and hibiscus flowers. I also prepare hair strands and mark them with colors. Burgundy for henna, orange for calendula, cream for brown onion, purple for red onion, and red color for hibiscus flowers. The additional strand of hair is the control sample marked in blue. I pour 4 tablespoons of each infusion into a bowl and soak the hair strands in it. I leave the hair for about 15 minutes. After this time, I remove the strands and leave them to dry. And here you can see the hair strands after the first use of the rinses. In the case of henna, warmer tones are visible compared to the control sample. In the case of calendula, I didn't notice any difference in color. The yellow onion peels give the hair an interesting peachy color. However, the hair seems to be a bit matted. Hair color after red onion rinse is much darker, but hair looks matted as well. You can even see some particles left on my fingers, and the comparison of hair after yellow and red onion. I love how the color after hibiscus turned out. It's a beautiful strawberry blonde. Anyway, I'm not going to stop here, and I'm going to do more rinses. For the second time, I decided to strain the onion infusion through some material to get rid of any particles. I soak the hair for about 15 minutes and then let it dry. And here you can see the effect after the second rinse. The hair after henna, calendula, yellow onion, red onion, comparison of both onions, and hibiscus. Here is the hair after the fifth henna rinse. Then we have calendula, yellow onion, red onion. I must mention that after each onion rinse, I had to rinse the strand with clean water because of the matte effect on the hair. Finally, the hair after a hibiscus rinse. And here are the strands after the 10th rinse. I also washed all the strands with a gentle shampoo. The color after henna rinse is very gingery, and it gets more intense after each rinse. The hair is also incredibly shiny and soft. The volume of the hair has also increased and it seems much thicker. In the case of calendula, the color did not change. If you look closer, the color seems to be slightly warmer. However, similar to henna, the hair becomes thicker and is also incredibly shiny and soft. The color of hair after both onions is clearly changed. But the hair, even though it has been washed with shampoo, still seems slightly matted. They also feel a bit rough to the touch. I noticed that a lot of dye washed out when I was washing hair with the shampoo. However, if you like the color, I think that using a hair conditioner could help to make the hair more shiny and soft. At the end, we have hair after hibiscus rinse. Quite a lot of color is left on the hair even after washing it with shampoo. The hair is shiny and smooth. However, hibiscus does not give volume and softness like in the case of henna or calendula. My favorite rinses turn out to be both henna and hibiscus. I'm in love with the beautiful warm pink color after the hibiscus rinses. But I also love the gingery color of hair after henna rinses, which gives the hair a very natural look. I think that combining those two rinses or using them alternately would give a nice effect. However, if you decide to use henna, keep in mind that it's not that easy to rinse it out of your hair. Also be careful if you have bleached or dyed hair. In all rinses, I recommend first doing a test on a small section of your hair. Especially I recommend this for henna. Let me know which hair rinse did you like the most. Have you ever used any of the rinses, or maybe you want to try one of them? I'm also curious if you know any other plants that give the hair gingery highlights. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye!